Welcome back. The House of Representatives has urged the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development to consider ways of harnessing the abundant bitumen deposits in the country and help diversify the economy. Representative Mayowa Akinfolarin, who moved the motion, noted that bitumen deposits in Nigeria are twice the amount of existing reserve of crude oil deposits in the country. The motion was passed unanimously. Meanwhile, the president says improving national security remains a priority for his administration. According to President Muhammadu Buhari, this is hinged on the fact that other socio-economic initiatives cannot be successfully implemented by the government without adequate security. The president, who made the comment during a visit to the presidential villa by Britain's Chief of Defence Staff, General Sir Nicholas Houghton, reaffirmed his administration's resolve to end the Boko Haram insurgency as quickly as possible. President Buhari told the visiting British Defence Chief that Nigeria remained appreciative of Britain's support in retraining its armed forces and requesting more assistance in logistics, equipment and intelligence. On his part, General Houghton pointed out that the Buhari presidency has a huge opportunity for Nigeria to make progress, adding that Britain is interested in the stabilization of the country. The Nigerian army has deployed a reinforcement of special forces to Gaidam town of Yobe State. The reinforcement followed a late evening attack on a military base on Wednesday that lasted about 12 hours, leaving 3 soldiers dead. Residents of the town are still in panic following the attack.
2006 census, Gaidam town in Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, has an estimated population of about 150,000 people. Gaidam is located 180 kilometers from Damaturu, the state capital. One of the more popular routes to Gaidam town is through Damasak area, an agrarian border community between Yobe State and Niger Republic. It was at a military checkpoint on Damasak Road that Nigerian soldiers were overpowered by Boko Haram insurgents. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Burate, is not impressed with the performance of the dislodged troops.
You are better trained. These so-called Boko Haram are just a bunch of riffraffs, criminals that don't have any training in tactics or fieldcraft. But you are better trained. You allow them to come and overrun you. More than 12 hours, none of you could come back to regain and recapture this place immediately until when they withdrew.
2 armored personnel carriers and vehicles belonging to the federal troops are among items destroyed by the assailants. Some residents of the town recount their experience.
They are being seen around Gumsa area, and the JTF commander here was able to mobilize his troops to go and get them on the way. But unfortunately, some of them followed another route and came in together, and that was why they had problems.
Around 5:30, we began to hear some gunshots, so some people were saying it was the army. Then after like around 6 o'clock, everything changed, and we were hearing that it was these boys, Boko Haram boys, that came in.
The number of civilian casualties is yet to be verified, but at least 3 persons are feared dead. And with the urgent need to stamp out insurgency in Nigeria, one can only wait to see how the Nigerian army responds to this attack in the coming days.
Let's switch lanes now to talk business with Imana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Hello and welcome to Business News. Barclays Bank says it will consult with its index users on whether Nigeria's sovereign debt should remain in its emerging market local currency government bond benchmarks. Barclays listed the eligibility of Nigeria for inclusion in the EM Local Currency Government Index among the primary topics to be considered in its annual review process. Nigeria has been seriously affected from the steep drop in oil prices since mid-2014. An exclusion by Barclays could add to its list of financial headaches after rival index provider JP Morgan announced in September it would drop Nigeria from its index, citing a lack of liquidity and currency restrictions. Barclays says the consultation will run through October and the results will be published shortly afterwards. Nigeria is one of the 19 countries which make up the index and the only one from Africa, aside from South Africa. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank executives have asked global policymakers to up their game in managing the slowdowns. At a briefing which opened the meetings today in Lima, Peru, both organizations expressed their support for challenged economies and recovering nations. Channel's business news correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
The press conferences held back-to-back with the IMF Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, taking the lead, asking global policymakers to upgrade their policies on unemployment and poverty.
They need to apply those recipes of Peruvian cuisine. Look at the best practices around and upgrade their policies.
She notes, however, that the IMF will sustain its technical support in form of agility and integrated advisory to members.
And that's what we are applying, whether you look at Ebola in terms of agility, quick response, cash in the bank, whether you look at the macroprudential advice and the analysis of the financial linkages that we include in our analysis in terms of integration. And as part of the Sustainable Development Goals, we have actually delivered by increasing by 50% access to financing for the low-income countries and by maintaining the 0% interest rate for low-income borrowers as well as those countries that are regarded as fragile states.
While the World Bank Group remains optimistic of a decline in poverty rate from 10% to 9.6%, its president, Dr. Jim Young Kim, seeks support for changing demographics but is concerned about climate change.
These demographic realities can be a golden opportunity for both poor and rich countries. An influx of working-age refugees or migrants into a country with an aging population can ultimately reap benefits for everyone.
With economies slowing down, the World Bank says its funding capacity is close to limits.
Ian, for the next 2 or 3 years, if we keep up the levels of lending that we have right now, we'll be okay. But at some point, we're going to have to decrease our lending pretty dramatically because we'll reach the limit of how far down we can go to maintain our AAA rating.
These meetings have shown that inequality will continue to drive migrants towards the developing states. But what the IMF and the World Bank is saying is that managing economic transitions has become important while also watching out for spillover effects. In this case, more countries have to collaborate with each other to manage these slowdowns. From the venue of the World Bank and IMF meetings in Lima, Peru, Temple Ashaju, reporting for Channels Television.
Meanwhile, Fidelity Bank PLC has organized a regional SME conference in Enugu State to help develop the potentials in men and women with entrepreneurial interest. The event featured panel discussion segments with focus on experience sharing by accomplished business leaders who started small but are now conglomerates. The managing director of the bank, Ms. Nnamdi Okonkwo, says the occasion is one that will generate partnership for success.
Fidelity Bank has reiterated its commitment to helping intending entrepreneurs who are part of this SME conference holding in Enugu to increase their competitiveness in a highly volatile business environment. The managing director of the company takes the stage to explain what the conference is all about.
We have what we call managed SME units. We help SMEs with advisory, like the man who somebody gave some large sum. If such a person comes to us, we now try to show him example of what people had done and succeeded or people had done and failed. So that is the kind of brand of SME that Fidelity does.
The Commissioner for Commerce and Industry in Anambra State also takes the opportunity to clear the air about issues on taxation.
I want to assure you that the issue of taxation and multiple taxation and even the mode of it is being addressed effectively, and we're looking into it effectively at cabinet level. And hopefully very soon we're also going to reach out to the business community.
During the panel discussions, accomplished businessmen and women shared their experience with the audience.
20-something staff we started with Genesis has over 3,000 staff working all over the country.
When he said to me 12 naira, I said 25 naira. I take another 5 to another person who is decent in it. He pay another 25 naira. I turn the money to the owner. I have finished the payment. The remaining one in our shop is gain.
Fidelity Bank has continued to play a major role in building sustainable business environment, and the former Vice President of Nigeria, Dr. Alex Ekweme, urged all the banks and the government to support and fund SMEs.
And if these SMEs can be financed by the banks and other institutions, then I think the implosion that we have in the economy will make this part of the country a model for growth.
For Fidelity Bank, the SME banking division will continue to provide solutions to the challenges faced by SMEs through a multifaceted approach.
The all-share index ended today's session down at 30,123.2, while market capitalization closed at 10.35 trillion naira. For details, here is Harriet Agbeni. Sentiments remained depressed, albeit marginally, for a fourth trading session this week at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, down 0.06%. The all-share index ended today's session at 30,123.20. Market capitalization of equities listed on the main board closed at 10.35 trillion naira. Market breadth returned negative as 18 stocks posted gains, while 23 stocks depreciated. With a 2.34% gain, Guinness Nigeria topped the gainers list, closing at 153 naira. Better Glass and Okomu Oil garnered 3.04 and 4.22% respectively to place second and third on the gainers list. The top three price laggards are International Breweries, Zenith Bank and BOC Gas. Zenith Bank was the most actively traded with 34 million shares. Universal Insurance Company follows with 33.07 million shares, and UBA makes up the top three trades for the day with 24.08 million shares traded. At the end of the day's session, number of trades slipped to 219.55 million, valued at 1.91 billion naira, and exchanged by investors in 3,126 deals. That's the stock market report. I'm Harriet Agbeni. Thank you, Harriet. Let's take a look at how equities fared on the global scene. And that's it on Business News tonight. I'm Emana Amawe. Amarachi will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
You first. First Bank.
There's a new phone in town, courtesy of Samsung, and it's the Galaxy Note 5. The phone is a major improvement from the previous series. Note 5 charges faster, allows broadcasts of live videos on YouTube, and also enables you to take down notes when the screen is off, amongst other features.
Samsung is out with something new that is believed will change for better the way communication is done. Did I let the cat out of the bag? Well, Galaxy Note 5 is out.
The people of Nigeria have really allowed our brand to grow to the level that it is today. As market leaders, we are always very appreciative that you cannot achieve this growth without, of course, customers.
This piece of technology is not just another marketing strategy, and the masters tell us why.
You can use what we call live broadcast on the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. And live broadcast will allow you to live broadcast this particular event as it's happening right now to 20 or more people, and they're watching it in real time. That's live streaming. Simple way to do it is just to go into your camera real quick, all right? You select this option that is called mode, and we have it here live broadcast. Now, for the people that will receive the SMS from me, they're actually watching everything that is being streamed straight from my camera.
The screen resolution of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 is actually QHD. That is mind-blowing. There are devices that when you're outdoor, you struggle to actually see what you're doing on your screen. You probably need to squint to actually have a clear view. On this guy, you don't necessarily need to do all of that. Why? Because the contrast ratio is very bright and the color is very highly vivid.
The choice of the event venue also caught my attention. It's Nike's Art Gallery, a place of creativity. So what's the connection?
Today is, the first and approaching for us to make a combination job, art and art gallery, and the backup to buy artist and the art gallery, and then Samsung device, especially Note 5. This is, already become the 5th edition, and that means like almost 5 years every year.
For somebody who does writing, who blogs, who does biographies, who does book reviews, this is very good because when the idea hits you, whether you're driving, you can use the recorder to record it. The best of it is that if your battery is dead, you can still write on it and save it and then read it when the battery is up.
Samsung Galaxy Note 5 comes in a dual SIM, single SIM, 32, 64 gig size and variants in color. You want to hit the nearest Samsung outlet next to you to grab one of these master technology pieces. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Still ahead of the news at 10, Super Eagles goalkeeper Vincent Enyama quits international football. We'll have details in sports news. Please join us again.